Warning, this podcast contains sexual content, graphic language, and bodily functions. Get over it.
I'm Heather Ann Gottlieb, and this is Dirty Girl, the podcast that shares stories from real women about their disgusting habits, taboo secrets, and unruly pastimes.
Fart, burp, queef your little heart out. It's not a girl thing. It's not a boy thing. It's not a woman or a man thing. Everybody has a body, and it's disgusting, and we all just need to accept it and love it.
How can we take this to the next level of disgusting?
So when I began reaching out to women in my life, I found everyone had their own interpretation of the word dirty. You know, I said, hey, I'm doing a show called Dirty Girl. Some thought I meant exclusively kinky sex stories. Some thought about the time they shit their pants. Some thought about the time they queefed on their boss. When I met with Martha, I discovered a new definition. The dirty aspects of having an eating disorder. The grungy, gross details of regurgitating every meal. And the dirty societal standards that push women to that point.
How to win at bulimia. Prologue. Dear listener, congratulations! You are a winner at bulimia. Well, you will be if you follow this simple how-to guide. This guide is primarily for ladies and girls. However, we are living in a progressive age, are we not? One where society recognizes that gentlemen and boys can do almost everything at nearly the level of proficiency as their female counterparts. So, if you happen to be a gentleman or boy, welcome. You are a winner too. Lesson 1. Plan your day. 1. Be anorexic during the day. Eat a blow pop and Diet Coke for breakfast, 2 packets of club crackers and a skim milk for lunch. 2. Don't be stupidly anorexic during the day. Divide and conquer. Never eat lunch with the same people. And, if you must, remember that the tsunami of conflicting advice out there as to what you should eat, how much, and when is your friend. Burying prying questions in no-carb, low-carb, blood-type diet, caveman, friggin' breatharian jargon will overwhelm even the nosiest of questionnaires. 3. Eat a sensible dinner and then just hold it. 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 And then stuff your face full of all the most deliciousest things and then ride the release. Everything gets to come out. Everything gets to come out. Why has no one thought of this before? Why isn't this a yogic practice? This is ritual. This is a cleansing of the soul. Bask in that sweet serenity at night as you push on your teeth with your tongue to make sure they aren't becoming loose due to the softening of the enamel that comes with frequent exposure to stomach acid. Yes, check in the dark of your bedroom, alone, to see if your teeth are rotting at the age of 16. No. No. 4. Stop those thoughts. You have a smart brain. Get it working for you. You are a history buff, right? Here's a good argument. This kind of behavior is historical. The Romans, remember them? Yeah, those people who figured out aqueducts, figured out the entire system of getting water to people through tubes. They had vomitoriums. Well, according to anthropologists, this might be more apocryphal than true. Nope! There's that brain betraying you again. Get it back on the team. You see, dear listener, to truly win at bulimia, you will need to cultivate the seemingly paradoxical skills of mental toughness and mental flexibility. But fear not, your brain is a beautiful thing. Look how elegantly it can adapt inconvenient truths. Look how artfully it can shape and mold them until they align perfectly with the lie that needs to be believed. Lesson 2. Know your environment. 1. Become a connoisseur of restaurant bathrooms. Restaurants with multiple stalls are to be avoided, as another patron could enter at any time and interrupt your activity. One-seaters are preferred for all dining experiences, and the good news here is that one-seaters are the preferred option of finer dining establishments. The more expense you incur to ingest that which you will soon eject, the less likely you are to be discovered, doubled over, 3 fingers in, staring at the mixed results of a $60 meal. 2. Wear waterproof eye makeup. you'll find that the physical end of your efforts have a way of requiring the assistance of the tear ducts. Worry not. This is not an emotional opening. It is merely physical. Keeping the eyes open wide during release can reduce some of the wetness, but this tends to pop blood vessels in the eye, which is more difficult to conceal. Lesson 3. You vomit what you eat. 1. Drink lots of liquid when eating bread. Otherwise, you'll likely have to manually massage out small matzo balls of dough through a tube not meant for such girth. Vomiting them up will occasionally lead to threat of choking in a manner that flows against the usual traffic. 2. Be careful when expelling pasta, as sometimes you'll find yourself performing the magician's never-ending scarf trick in noodle form. And boy, are those slippery little suckers even harder to grab onto in that mucus-lined esophagus. 3. Salad can be troublesome, as lettuce floats and is therefore harder to flush. You may have to stay in a restroom for 2 to 3 flushes before vegetable shrapnel will go down, thereby increasing your risk of discovery, either through remaining evidence or by minutes spent in your confessional of choice. 4. While the densest of meals can be hard to bring up, liquid only is likely to be unsatisfying, like booking a romantic hotel room only to find yourself masturbating alone. There's a cost to these things, dear listener. You want to walk out satisfied. Lesson 4. In summation, if you, dear listener, have followed this manual's instructions to the best of your ability, you are probably aware that bulimia can be practiced successfully by anyone regardless of age, gender, race, religion, or economic status. However, I must admit that even I, master practitioner, I got tired of winning. Perhaps I had been tired of winning for a long time, who's to say? For to truly win at bulimia, one has to be exceedingly successful at physical, emotional disintegration. Like a seasoned bomb diffuser, the mind must cut the cables between the corporeal satellite stations and their emotional mission control. Then, masterful shapeshifter that she is, the mind takes over. And now we have it. Bulimia, bulimia, bulimia. The body submits, and the emotional center has been silenced for the good of all. Except an irrational creature by its very nature does not have to behave rationally, does not have to follow rules. An irrational creature can walk through walls simply because she does not accede to the premise that they exist. And so the emotional mission control cannot truly be silenced. Sometimes a gentle voice emerges from deep inside the emotional core, talks to body. My love, my love, my love. Little container of perfect cells, infinite universe of stardust. Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? And so, dear listener, if you get tired of winning at bulimia, rest. Take slow bites. Let them linger. Keep it in, and fear not. Whatever it is, it will not stay inside forever. It turns out there are natural channels for moving through. Slower, yes. Which, of course, feels impossible in those agonizing moments in which nothing short of immediate relief feels withstandable. But moving through, it turns out, gently, naturally, in time, is called love.
And tell me who you are, and tell me everything.
Everything. How much time do we have? My name is Martha Marion, and I'm an actor and a writer and poet. I remember watching, there was a Tracy Gold after-school special where she is bulimic, and she's like throws up in these jars and then keeps them in her closet. And I just remember being like, what an amateur. Like, yeah, of course you're getting caught. Don't put it in jars in your closet, you dummy. And really just being like, man, I am so much smarter and better at this than she is, which is so funny and stupid. So I really wanted to write a piece that that included that sense of like high and mighty confidence about something that is so destructive and gross. It was related more to a move than to, I think, just adolescent girl body image stuff. Because the onset of it came, I'd moved states, and I'd moved from a place I really loved with really great friends to a place that I really felt was not my place. And I was just so, like, I basically stopped eating because I was just sad. I didn't notice. I didn't stop eating on purpose. I was just very sad. Nobody reacted with concern at essentially what was me being so depressed I had starved myself. 100% of people were like, this is great. Everything is better now. You are more beautiful. You are more lovable. Everything is great. So, then my 16-year-old brain was like, oh, okay, well, then I guess now we have to start doing this on purpose. And I knew I loved food too much to, once it was conscious, I remembered how much I loved food and was like, well, I can't do it the one where you just don't eat food way. And I was like, well, there's a second way. Like, then you get to eat all the food. Let's try it. That seems good. So either mostly I was as good at hiding it as I thought, or people are so in their own worlds that people don't notice. My parents didn't notice. Mostly nobody said anything. Mostly it was just like regular sized meals that I really, really enjoyed, and then got to enjoy without any stress at all because I knew I was going to get to do the fun part, which is the eating, but then I wouldn't have to worry about the consequences of possibly gaining weight. So I was having it both ways. So it was some binging, but mostly it was just like guilt-free regular eating because I wasn't going to have to keep it. It got the worst. The real rock bottom was my freshman year of college because they had like late night dining at my dining hall. So just like free food until 3 a.m. And I had a single. So I could like go back and forth to late night dining and just bring it all back to my room and then like binge alone in the room. And then that got really bad. So when I came home for Christmas break, I left a note on their bed as I went back to school that was like, this is happening, this is going on, it's very bad, and I'm going to get treatment.
Speak about how you decided to get treatment, what that was. Was it the student health center? Was it?
It was it was a private therapist that my parents paid for, who specialized in people with eating disorders. And that was the beginning of a turnaround, but I wouldn't say, basically I would say that was my first stint in rehab, but not my last by any stretch. But it did get me out of the worst of it. I would say I understand the parts you don't want. I understand why you want to keep the parts you want to keep. But there are other ways, I promise, that you can find the relief you're looking for. Yes, not as it's an easy solution to a complex problem, and it's not a solution.
Were you ever caught?
Not by anybody who knew me. Every once in a while, a stranger. But then there's easy ways out of that. Mostly people won't say anything. You can pretend to be ill. One of the worst things about it is the realization that most people are not paying attention to you or caring about what you're doing. Not out of malice, just out of, people are in their own heads in like thinking of themselves most of the time. And 2, culturally, we have a rule that says don't get in other people's business. That the thing you were doing that deep down you know was hurting yourself was received with such praise. And that, okay, so then society in order of value ranks hot body, female, maybe everybody, but specifically hot female body, way above healthy female body. I go now a lot to the Korean spa, and every time I go and you just see this like diversity of bodies and like naked women's bodies, and it's just all different stuff. There's no standard. It's made up. And I just wish from 11 to 16 had I had those experiences frequently, of just seeing all kinds of naked women, it could have been a game changer. Or this cultural value set is so massively powerful that it could have even, could have still gotten in there, but I would have had something to fight it with.
Dirty Girl is a podcast that you just listened to. It's produced by me, along with Cameron Tagge and Alex Salem. You can find us on Instagram at Dirty Girl Pod. I post a shitload of uber feminist stuff. You're gonna love it. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, same handle, but Instagram is my favorite. I'm Heather Ann Gottlieb. I will see you next time. Until then, take some time to be dirty today.